Welcome back to the channel. Meet my June bug. His birthday was June 21st. Okay, he's a bit grumpy.
So right now, me there on a journey. Give my heart to some people when I'm heavy.
Again, welcome back to the channel. It's been a minute. It's been a while since I have posted a new video, and I just was not feeling it. I'm sorry. And now I understand why YouTubers and content creators sometimes like have to take a break. It wasn't a case where like editing videos is too hard. I can do that in a day or two or even a couple of hours. And it's not a case where I didn't have time. I did have time, but like I wasn't feeling up to it, and there were a lot of things going on that I had to sort through, and I just needed some time. But now I do want to release the final video that I intended to release. Maybe not exactly how I had imagined, but the main reason that I wanted to do, the 30 videos all through May to June 21st was to kind of let it be known that I had another child. And yes, it was unplanned. And yes, it was definitely difficult and stressful. And it was something I would not have imagined having to go through again a second time. But um, when life happens, sometimes it happens like that. And I really wish it didn't work out like how it did. But God's willing, like everything will fall into place and I will bounce back even better, even better from this whole situation. So I have inserted the clip with me and my 1 year old. He turned one on June 21st. And when I got pregnant in 2022, most likely September of 2022, it was a case where his father and I had met when we were just like working together, and the relationship began out of like what would you say? It began very naturally to me. To me, it began very naturally, but I began to realize that there may have been other reasons or other intentions there. But to me, it began very naturally as like someone needed help, and I am a person that um, doesn't have a problem with helping people as long as I'm not like going too far out of my way, you know? So we became familiar with like each other in a workspace, and we began like, well, me personally, I began spending personal time with him, like by dropping him home. And to me, when I met him, or when I interacted with him, I got certain vibes. Like I did see him with a few females. Like there was always a female, beside him. So I did get certain vibes that he was kind of like a player or a ladies' man, or like, he was like a in Jamaica we call it a gallus, and he's a pretty boy and things like that. But I did get those vibes initially. So when we started interacting more, it was a case of like we were leaving work at certain hours and it was difficult for him to get home, and I was able to give him a lift home. um, and I think that is something that's normal kindness. I received a lot of kindness like from strangers, and maybe not strangers but people in my circle growing up. I remember there was this couple, the Mackenzies, when I was just a stray a bit. I remember there was this couple, the Mackenzies, when I was growing up, and they lived in Kingston, but our church family was in another parish. And their journey from Kingston to the other parish, they always passed my house where I lived with my dad. So almost every weekend or every Sunday, they would pick me up so I could visit my sister, my older sister, that she and I share the same mother. We're the only children my mother has, and we went to church together. So they would pick me up and help me go visit my sister for the weekend or to go to church on Sunday. And I was always very grateful for something like that. I know they were trying to help me, you know, stay in the church family and things like that, but it was also very kind of them. They always tried to make a lot of arrangements for that to happen, and they were very nice people. If they didn't pick me up together, they might have driven separate vehicles, and they one might have picked me up, or the other one might have, like the husband or the wife might have picked me up, and they're very like in my Christian life, they are the most genuine. I don't know them outside of church and like being around them every now and then, but what I know of them, they are a prime example of like a great Christian family. They're married with two kids, and I've seen them go through some things, and um, I just really admired them, you know. But like our church family was very small, and there weren't very many other, you know, examples like that. I think they were the best example of like a Christian family that really exhibited values and the values and kindness and just like love of true family, you know, in a Christian sense, because I didn't grow up with a Christian family. Like my mom was Christian, but as I mentioned, I'm from a broken family. My parents were never married, and my dad has other children, separate relationships, and things like that. So they were a very good example for me. And going back to the story of the child of my father, it was something normal to me to give someone a lift. I have given people a lift before without like expecting anything. Like as long as it's not taking me too far out of my way, I don't mind. I never mind giving someone a lift. In fact, I saw someone the other day that I used to drop off after picking my son up from school just a few times, and I had both my baby and my firstborn, who's going to be 7 next week, and I had both of them at the bus stop for a really long time. My firstborn was getting restless, and like it was difficult to get a vehicle. And somehow I saw the car pull up and I saw the face and they were like, "Oh my God," you know, and they addressed me how they normally address me. And I looked good and I was like, "Oh my gosh, you actually recognize me." It's been such a while since I had saw that person. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is just like favor. This is favor." And I was grateful for the ride. They dropped me off at a very convenient location. I also ended up leaving something in the vehicle and something on my child's, and they dropped it off for me. And I am so grateful for small things like that. But that is why I think kindness is something when you give, you never know when it's going to be returned for you. And I've seen that so many times in my life that I encourage like people, if you need help, it's always best to ask. Like it's always best to ask for help if you need it. I've never been really someone to like really listen to that, but in the past couple of years, I have had to ask for help, even though I it was never really me. If there was anything I could handle on my own, I kind of figured it out. And then like there was my mom. My mom was someone I would always ask for help, and it's really difficult that she's not here anymore. And it's like you know who else do I ask for help? But she was someone that I relied on a lot, and I think there was an over reliance as well because a lot of decisions I made as a young adult revolved around her and what she was doing and stuff like that. So I think self-reliance, building self-reliance in a child is very important as well. Okay, completely strange. All right, so the father of my child, I gave him lifts home, and we, besides my general, or my first, why am I losing my train of thought? My first impression of him, I did get to know a little softer side of him, you know, in dropping him home. And there were some things that he said, um I was just like making mental note of them that this is not adding up, right? So there were things that weren't adding up, and then there was something that he was showing me within himself, um that was a little softer, you know. So I overlooked the deception. I overlooked certain things, and I continued to drop him off and get to know him a little better. And then someone within our work circle told me to be careful of that person. They called me aside and everything, and they told me to be careful of that person. So there was no like relationship at this point when I was told that we did not get intimate. There was nothing like that. I was literally just dropping him home, and um, and then heading home after that, which was like a fair distance. But at that hour that we were leaving, there was like no traffic on the road and things like that. So after like a rainy day, we kind of, you know, got intimate. And after that, it was like, you know, where do we stand from here and whatever. And there was no like formal sit down conversation about like how do we move forward and things like that. Um, it was just kind of, you know, but then we still, you know, began to spend more time together. And then I started to notice things like someone he said he wasn't with, you know, they kept interacting. And in our previous talks, I did express that I am someone that's really jealous and someone that's really serious in relationships. And I just kind of dressed back again after that intimate interaction. I just kind of just back again, and then we had some disagreements, and and because we were seeing each other so often, or you know, because we had that time together, and really and truly, I was kind of I was kind of out of touch at that time, anyways, because my phone was damaged, and I really wasn't in a space where I wanted to like connect. I wasn't in a space where I really wanted to like maintain any kind of contact. I needed to focus on certain things, like my firstborn was in kindergarten, and he was in like private school, so I had to be maintaining school fees, I was paying my car insurance. I had a few loans that I had to clear up, and I was just trying to balance all of that as like a single parent. So I really wasn't taking anyone serious. But if I were to take on a relationship, it would have had to be something serious because I wanted like I want stability. I would like I'm at that age now where it's like, what are we doing? You know, it's like casual waste of time doesn't really make sense. And like that's what I was doing with this person for a little while, and then I was like, this isn't going anywhere. I spoke to one of my closest friends just like before she migrated, and we had a heart-to-heart talk, and yeah, we came to the conclusion like she's someone that if I tell her this is not gonna work, and if I told her like that person is not it, she would listen to me, you know. And so when I expressed everything to her and told her, you know, someone just already warned me about this person and stuff like that, she was like, yeah, that's not it. And I was like, you're so right. And I spoke to him, and then to me that was the breakup. To me, that was the breakup at the beginning of like our early October, right? So since he's always, you know, seeing other people anyways, I thought it would be no issue. I continued to give him um, a lift because we were starting a new job, and you know, when you're starting a new job, sometimes you're coming from a very rough time, and that's what I got from him. I got that he was trying and he was going through a rough time, and he just needed a little help in that regards. So I continued to give him a lift, and with doing so and not setting the necessary boundaries that I should have for myself, he kept like trying to seduce me and things like that. And then like when I said like we ended things, to me it was early October. My birthday is October 6th, and then I believe he called me over, and I wasn't going to go, but like I wasn't doing much anyway, so I went over, and it was like the same kind of seducing thing, not much talking, not much like if anything, you know, of value. So I just went home, and there were some lies, there were still some like deception that he was trying to, you know, and I knew he was lying. He was still trying to deceive me, but it was like it's nothing to it's like not even something that you need to lie about, you know? Right? So that was my birthday, and then I made plans with someone like the Friday after. So my birthday was like the middle of the week, and then my birthday was a Friday. So I made plans with someone on the Friday for my birthday, and I went out with that person. I've known them for a while, but it was the first time like really going out with them. And yeah, it was a date, but it wasn't like I didn't know what would, you know, come from that. So we were talking about it, and we're like, when would we see each other again and stuff like that. But then I still gave this person a lift after my date. And then I guess because I did express to him that, you know, this is someone that's really promising, and this is what I need right now. I need something serious. He continued to like come on to me and stuff like that, and it was just like I became very confused. Like you're seeing all of these people, from what I can tell, it's even in the same workplace, and then you're approaching me. Like I was very confused. All right, so then one day, while giving this person a ride somewhere, and I think it was like to work this time, to work, giving this person a ride, I interacted with someone he knows, and they were like, this person is not really interested in you. They're just doing whatever. They're just into you because of your vehicle, or for the sake of getting around, you know, or having access to your vehicle. So I looked into it, and then I made a few calls based on that. I was like, okay, there were some things I was suspicious of, and I reached out to his mom, and I did get some useful information. And with that, I was packing up to leave the entire situation. So without his knowledge, I was packing up to leave the entire situation. Hold on. This is within October, but it wasn't right after my birthday. So a couple weeks passed, closer to the end of October, and he's closer to the end of October, maybe, you know, around his birthday. He's born in October as well. So like we were seeing each other, you know, it was again confusing, casual, whatever, mixed up. And I do think at this point I confirmed that I might have been pregnant, right? So there was no morning after discussion. There was no, hey, you know, I think this might have happened. It just came about where like in October I was like, you know, it's getting close. I think this is a close call. I'm missing that important cycle. I'm missing that. So I was thinking that in my head, and then he brought it up in a conversation, and then he seemed happy about the whole thing. He seemed happy about the whole thing, and I was like, really, is this something that you know, it's totally unplanned, and it's like, we have several issues anyway, and I already have my son. I'm going through so much financially right now. I do not think it's the best time. And I was like, if this is something that you want, we'd have to like buckle down and make sure we offer financial security to the child, right? And I'd also want to be married. Now, the marriage that I was thinking of was to make sure that the child was born in wedlock. So, like before I would deliver, I wanted to be married, document wise married. And from there, we would also work on a few financial goals to make life comfortable for the child I already have and for the child that we were going to have together. Mind you, I don't have my mom I can talk to. I don't have like any like real support system that I could talk to. I couldn't talk to that friend that I had spoken to that the last thing I spoke to her about was like, this is over and this is not going to work out because it seems like he has so many other people that he's talking to, right? And as I said, like my phone, I was basically off the grid. My phone was down, and I wasn't like in in even into like interacting socially. So on social media and stuff like that, I was like off the grid. There were just a few people, that I was talking to. So after, saying that we would have to try and, work on our financial stability, this he continued to say this was something that he really wanted. Okay. I was watching his behavior for a while, and then when that person said that to me, right, I automatically thought that this is most likely something he had said to them, that he's only in this relationship for the benefits of the relationship. And right now I'm like, now a child is involved. I can't continue with this person. So I was packing up my things to leave. I called his mother and confirmed some things he was deceiving me about. And then I was going to leave without his knowledge. So while packing up my things to leave, the partner of the person that told me, he basically said, um, he's just using you for whatever reason. She intervened and was like, what's wrong and whatever and stuff like that. So in that point of time where it's like, I'm seeing red, I'm seeing red, I'm angry, I'm like, I'm not wasting any more time on the situation again, right? Um, she got involved and we exchanged numbers and we were talking and things like that. And I was still very confused and I didn't know what to do. Me at this stage in my life, I have never had to terminate a pregnancy. Um, I didn't really get sexually involved until I was like late teens, until I was working, almost 20. I didn't really get, sexually involved. And even then, it was mostly like using protection and stuff like that, right? So I've never had to terminate a pregnancy. I had my first son, even though in that case, I still tried to, um, I did try to use to get the morning after. It's just like when you ask, it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea to ask your partner, especially if there's someone that is not reliable, to get your morning after, because from what I've heard, he has told people very detailed things about our situation, but he didn't tell him that I gave him the money to get my morning after, and he ate the money and even forgot that he was supposed to get it. And then I was just like, I was in such a depressive state, like at first time I had my child. I just thought that this will be something will be that will help me, focus, and this child will be something I can pour my love into. And I did do that. I did I did sacrifice a lot for my first child. But again, I did not want to have another child unplanned. So these were things that were going through my head, and I did not want to be a single parent. I told this person this, right? So here I am, confused, and this is late October, and there was, yes, I confirmed there was another girl in the mix at work that he was talking to. And then this girl, the partner of the person, was telling me that I need to look out for him because he's only using me for whatever reason. She gets involved, and she's like, okay, let's go talk to his mother. Mind you, I already spoke with his mother and confirmed the lies, and I just was like, okay, yeah, I guess let's go and see why he's telling these lies or being deceptive. We went. His mother was a little, you know, um, high strung. She's a bit high strung, and she's like, yes, run for your life, run for your life. But she did also tell me some things, and I was like, okay, so these are the reasons why he's lying, because he's basically insecure about certain personal things. So I was like, okay, I was going to leave without explanation or anything. Let me talk to, all right, after speaking to his mom, let me talk to him, because she was like, girl, run for the hills. That's what she basically told me. Girl, run for the hills. Now this friend went with me, and she was there soaking up everything. She did seem a bit overly relaxed when we visited his mom. I was watching her mannerisms, but no one gave me the answers I was truly looking for, right? Because there was someone that I noticed that he had been maintaining contact with, separate from even the girl that I saw him with at work, that was like, no, I was like, no, this is not going to work. And then the person that told me this is why he's with me. And then, so it was a lot of things. And then I had to be thinking about the decision that I need to make. And I was just very confused. Anyways, I am never someone, I've never wanted to be in a position where I have to terminate a pregnancy, but I was considering it dearly. I swear, I was the whole time, the whole pregnancy, I was considering it, because it's like this person that says they want a child, they're not showing me anything to indicate that they're mentally ready, financially ready, they're making preparations, nothing like that. And then, um, to me, he tried to seek advice from other people, and he got really bad advice. To me, that's what happened, because all while telling me that he wanted a child. He was doing a whole bunch of unnecessary stuff, right? And then he was also like, I don't want you to come to my house anymore. Leave me alone and things like that. I'm like, it was very confusing. And then and I tried to, oh my God, after I talked to him, he was like, I hate you. And he said it in a way like a child, a child is upset and it's like, I hate you. To me, it was like he was upset because I went and spoke with his mom without his permission and he was upset about that. So I was like, where do we go from here? What do we do? And it was like very confusing again. So I was just there. We were just, whatever. Um, by December, a whole bunch of things happened. My car got damaged. Um, my son was sick, and his school fees needed to be paid, and um, I had to be missing work. I took some leave from work because he needed like attention. He needed attention, and his father is a non-factor. His grandparents weren't available. They said they were busy and they couldn't keep him and things like that. And then I had a car accident. So the car that was a convenience in our relationship, and the whole reason why I was back and forth with him anyway. The car got damaged, and it was just so much on my plate on top of like thinking about the decision I'm going to make for in this pregnancy. Right, it was just so much. So I was so overwhelmed. Didn't have anyone to really like sort through things with. And then um, aside from my car accident, a few months later, um, he encouraged me to like rent a vehicle because my car was still damaged and I needed to import parts and stuff like that. He encouraged me to rent another vehicle, and I was like, maybe we should rent a lower scale vehicle. He said no, he wanted a particular vehicle. All right. Um, the vehicle was rented. It was damaged, and then when it was damaged, the owners were furious. The owners were furious. I don't know exactly how it went because I wasn't with him when the vehicle was damaged. And I just had to explain to them, I will take full responsibility. I'm sorry about that. And they were very like, aggressive and abusive. Jamaican people are like, they don't know how to like dispute peacefully, right? They have a peaceful dispute. And I was like, it's not something I want to go to court for because I do not have all the details of what happened to the vehicle. I just know it was damaged and I will take full responsibility for it. So they were like, we need our money, we need our money, we need our money for the damages. And it was just like, again, I'm pregnant. Um, I'm not sure what I'm going to do about the pregnancy. And this is like, I'm at the end of my first trimester here. I was just like still, again, overwhelmed. And I hurried and scurried and ran all over the place to get these people their money because as I said, I'm financially struggling. You understand? I was running all over the place to get these people their money. I talked to this person that was supposed to be my partner in all of this. They were their head was not in the child king. Their head was elsewhere. So he was no help with that. And I was like just overwhelmed. So up to even up to the near the end of my second trimester, I was still not sure. Like, I just didn't want to go through with something like that. And I was like, I might just have to. I might just have to because the financial situation that I'm in right now, and then this person is not proving themselves.
Dating a man who can't help you financially is a waste of time. A lot of these men have no plans on building with you. They just want all the benefits of having you with none of the responsibility. I'm not saying a man should pay a woman's bills as soon as he meets her, but if he's not in a position to provide and help financially and not willing to help as the relationship grows, then he's wasting your time. Real men are providers, and a man who's not a provider leaves a woman to do it all by herself. That's when women get burnt out and eventually frustrated from a man not handling his responsibilities.
Asked me about like what I did and stuff like that in a very like vulgar way. He didn't check in like he cared. He just asked in a very vulgar way, and I gave him my response. And then I was getting back to him to let him know like I don't think I'm going through with this. Okay, so I'm going to the doctor to deal with it. And I had made up my mind. I had made up my mind that yeah, it's almost very late, but it's like better than have a child go through what my first son went through and having to go through all those financial struggles again. Someone called me basically on the behalf of my child's father, and they were like, saying this is something he really wants and whatever, whatever. All right, so fast forward to present day. My son is now 1. This has been the most stressful 2 years of my life. This has been the most stressful, depressing um, 2 years of my life. And I don't think I got what I wanted. I don't think I got what I wanted out of the situation. And I realized that I should not have let anyone change my mind from my decision initially. I realized that I did not set clear enough boundaries with this person. I let them manipulate me, I let them deceive me. And what I had said to them was, I told them, if this is something that you want, hell or high water, you are going to be responsible for that child. So by the time the child was born or about to be born, I was like, come get your kid because after everything you put me through, I'm not in a state to like be managing to be responsible for a child right now. I was run to wreck. I was run to wreck. I was tired. I was stressed. Like there is nothing planned. And then everything fell on the shoulders of like his mother, who was already caring for a grandchild, and um, we're basically just rebuilding because there was no way I was going to be responsible for a child on my own in the current state that of everything that transpired. Because first and foremostly, it was not something I was going to go through with. And I am definitely pro-choice. I am definitely pro-choice, but I do not think that is a choice that I should have to make, or I never thought this would have been a choice that I would have to make in my life. I think it was on my part. My part, I didn't protect myself well enough, but I do know for a fact I'm not the only person that they have allowed this to happen to. Um, like a serial breeder, right? Like a serial cheater, a serial breeder. Um, and to me, I just keep trying to find the best in this person because if I focus on all the negative and hateful things that they've done to me, I will do something very evil. And I have not one, but two children to live for, right? So I keep trying to make the best of the situation. And anyone that gets in the way of me trying to make the best of the situation, I also deal with them, right? Because to me, what I understand, he has perpetuated the situation in another way to other people as if I forced this on him when the whole time I wanted to move on with my life. Okay? Right? So this is something that he really wanted, but he did not focus and put himself in the position that he needed to be, right? So, anyways, this is where we are. I have a 1 year old, and uh, uh, my firstborn is going to be 7 next week. So I have a June bug and a July boy, and they are both cancers. Fun fact: my first love was a Cancer. So I I do love them both, and you know, if he had been responsible enough to take care of the child on his own, I would have given the child to him for him to take care of it because really I was not in the physical, mental, financial state to deal with any of this. And I'm recovering. I'm recovering and I do I do know that I was manipulated and abused and taken advantage of in several ways. And I am at a point where I'm now standing up for myself. And this isn't going to be forever. It was for a time. And I pray to God that I do not let my innocence, I do not let my I'm not naive. I'm not going to say I'm naive because I saw everything for myself. Um, I just let them play. I just let them play instead of removing myself from the situation. I let them play, and it ended up ruining me as well. They tried to tarnish my reputation. Um, they they affected my relationship with my family, and I'm basically just trying to navigate myself back to a place where I am financially stable, and I'm trying to recover my emotional and mental well-being, and yeah, this is where I am. So this video looks like it's going to be really long because I want to insert a few more things. In the past couple weeks, I have been binging a few shows, and I found a Latin American or Mexican, I think it's a Mexican show that's on Netflix. It's called Daughter from Another Mother. It does have English translation, so you don't have to read subtitles all through. But it did get to the third season. I have gone to the third season where there is a similar scenario like what I went through. It's like, someone, she already had a child years ago, right? And she ended up getting pregnant accidentally again. And again, she asked the person, or she found out if the person was ready for the child. And she still wasn't sure. But they did, or they behaved like they were, um, as if, it's a bit more stable, but she basically had the same demands that I had. You need to be there for the child. I'm not going to raise a child by myself. Again, and that is noteworthy. Like, I would not want my child to be raised by me alone, like, especially a male child. I would not want him to grow up without his father, right? So I do my best. And I am a bit rough because I personally did not grow up with much affection. I remember one time I hugged my closest friends, and we both broke down because it's not normal for me to show that type of affection. I remember in the seventh grade, I had this one friend. She was very affectionate, very loud. She always used to hug me, and when she saw me, and I couldn't reciprocate that to her. Like when she was hugging me, it was like this, you know. And I was very closed off. As I said, I was severed from my mother after being stuck there for years, and I think that did some amount of trauma to me. And even like in the relationships that I have, I guess I tend to go for the more pretty boys and things like that. But even so, um, in the relationships I have, even like with older, more sensible partners, it's just like I still settle. Like I haven't really, found something that is like solid. I haven't found anything that's solid. It's not that I'm looking, but a relationship that is healthy is definitely something that I would want, especially since I have my children. A healthy relationship is definitely something that I would want for not just myself, but so that my children can grow up with a a good male role model. And I have no intention like of growing old alone. Like if I have to, I would, but I am still open to like, and it's at this point, it's not like love, falling in love. Like it's like if someone is good to you and they they respect you, they're able to provide for you, they're able to be supportive of you, you will end up being in love with this person. So I'm not looking for like storybook romance. And that's why I told this person I'm even willing to be married because I want the best for my child. And he agreed to this to me in the early part. And it seems like he got confused when he spoke to other people because they did not understand the gravity of the situation. They did not understand all the moving parts. He just told them what he wanted to tell them, and they did not understand like all the pieces here, right? And I wasn't the only one that was financially in a rut. He was in a financial rut too, right? So we made plans to get out of that situation so we can make things better for a child, especially. And it's not to me, it's like he got a lot of bad advice. And he was even telling me things like, don't come to my house or I'm going to call the police. And then it's like a series of things happened where it was like the same friend that told me that I should consider and go to his mother and whatever like that. She was telling me that, oh, he needs you and he did it. And it's like, at the end of the day, all he needed was self discipline. And all he needed was to focus on his child so much that everything would have been able to fall into place the way it should have. But he didn't listen to me because of his ego, right? And we're both facing the consequences of those decisions. And I'm at a place where I'm not taking the foolishness no more, right? I let you do you, and here we are in a rut, still in a deeper rut than we were in before. I'm not taking the foolishness no more. Okay, so it's either you listen or I'm going about my business. At this point I can't even manage a child on my own, so it doesn't make a difference anyway. You're gonna have to deal with him and let me put myself back together to a place where I can take him from you if it's not going to work. So yeah, um, there are a lot of personal things that I need to work on as well. I do need a lot of personal development for myself, and yeah, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I know what I need to do. I have some debt to clear up. I still have debt to clear up because, well, I had to be paying back people. I also had to be finding my son's school fees, and I had to be surviving through a pregnancy that was completely unplanned on my own and literally, so I'm recovering. As I said, I'm recovering, and I'm trying to look after myself. And I pour my love into my children. I pour my love, and I'm thankful for the support that I did have to look after my first son. His grandparents took over, and they've been a great help. They did say that when he was older, they would look after him for me. They do enjoy their freedom, so I do appreciate it. And hopefully, I'm stable enough to take him back soon. I want to raise my children because I want them to be raised a certain way. There are things that happen through my life that I would not want them to go through, right? And I do think can, a single parent, of course, can manage to raise children, brilliantly enough for them to be outstanding people, even though I do indicate that I would want, a solid partner as well for them to have, an example of treating how to treat a woman and how they should carry themselves as good human beings and things like that. But the relationship would be mostly for me and to help my stability to be there for them. But if I do end up having to do it on my own, I do need to be firm. I need to be a bit more um, firmer than where I am right now. I'm very things are not settled here. They're settling, but things are not settled here for me, and I'm just focused on working on making everything better for myself and in turn for them, and I do want both of them with me. Um, so that is where life is at right now. And a word I would use to describe like everything is just like I've gone through so much narcissistic abuse. That's what I, and it's like it's not even the first time. It's not even the first time. It's like, why do I keep attracting these narcissists? And I'm really doing my research on things like that. I'm really doing research on how to navigate the type of relationship that I have. Um, but with the help of God, I will overcome all of this. I will overcome all of it. And I still have faith that I will be married someday. And I think that there are different types of love. People don't realize that there are different types of love. And the love that I had for my child's father um, was care. The type of caring, pragmatic. Let me look up the types of love again. You have the different types of love. You have philia, friendship or goodwill; storge, familial or affectionate love; ludus, playful or uncommitted love; eros, sexual or passionate love; agape, universal or altruistic love; and pragma, practical or enduring love. So the type of love for this person, I think, is a pragmatic love. Even though we did go through different stages, there was like ludus, there was playful and uncommitted love, and then when we realized, the child got involved, it was a pragmatic choice for me to say, okay, I think if this is something you want, this is what we need to do. And pragmatic love is a mutually beneficial relationship, also known as pragmatic love is a practical, mutual beneficial relationship. It may be somewhat unromantic, and it's sometimes described as shopping list love because a partner is selected based on a series of traits or requirements. Pragmatic love involves making sensible relationship choices and finding a partner who will make a good companion and friend. All right, so in the last part, it was not it was supposed to be mutually beneficial in a case where he would have been there to support me um, for the child, and he would have been there to make sure the relationship was healthy for the child, but it has not been mutual. You know, it has not it has not been mutual, right? And honestly, that's the type I have for this person. Of course, there's a little you know um arrows there, and there's a little passion there, but it's like it's not a romantic love, and I'm okay with that. Um, the things we do for our children, right? Because they did not ask to be here. Children never asked to be here. So we need to tailor our lives to suit them, right? And that's what I had every intention of doing, tailor my life to suit my children. And I had to keep on explaining to him, if you love this child so much, you have to sacrifice for them. You have to. Or it didn't make any sense at all. It didn't make any sense to go through all of this at all. Whew. Right. So I'm here. I'm thirsty now. I'm going to add a few clips here at the end of things that like made me and help me, be seen and help me get through it, because I'm like, there's no way that I'm experiencing something that's so foreign. There has to be other cases of things like this. So I I found things like on social media that were helpful. I did my own deep dive and research, and I will continue to update. I will continue to update my journey. Right now, I'm not sure how this whole thing will pan out. There are a lot of things that are still up in the air, but I definitely am doing my best to get through it, and I'm almost there at the finish line. Um, I'll leave a few links in the description for the shows that I mentioned. I was also binging a Turkish drama. I need to make that Turkish drama list. Like, if people are interested in Turkish dramas that I have watched, I will be posting a list. I will be posting a video soon of some of the best Turkish dramas that I've watched, and I'm sure like you'll even want to continue to like look out for new ones like me. Um, but thank you for watching 1 hour. Have a good one. Bye.